Dear friends, today I am going to take your third lecture related with the separation of variables in spherical coordinate system. We are going to learn through example, and this is that example 3.8. Understand this example carefully. An uncharged metal sphere of radius capital R is placed in an otherwise uniform electric field E is equal to E0z. The field will push positive charge to the northern surface of the sphere and by symmetrically negative charge leaves to the southern surface of the sphere as shown in the figure 3.24. This induced charge in turn distort the field in the neighborhood of the sphere. Find 1. The potential in the region outside the sphere, and second, induce surface charge density sigma. So, this figure you understand, initially there is a uniform electric field is going to be present E0z. What does it mean? Uniform electric field, that means magnitude of the electric field is going to be the same and direction is also in the z direction only. So, uniform electric field is going to be present, and in that uniform electric field there is a metallic sphere is going to be placed. This metallic sphere is having a radius of capital R, and the center of the metallic sphere is at origin. That way the coordinate system xyz is drawn. That means x directions, this is going to be the y directions and this is going to be z direction. So, xy plane is going to be your equatorial plane, which is passing through the center, and it is a crossing this one as a diameter, you can say that. Now, because of this metallic sphere, you understand there is a negative charge as well as there is a positive charge, and there are free electrons will be there, that is a negative charge. They will experience the force in an electric field, and because of this force, that is force is equal to Q into E. That means the positive charge will move toward the direction of the electric field and negative charge will try to move in the direction of opposite direction to the electric field, and that way it will push the positive charge to the northern surface of the sphere and leaving the negative charge to the southern surface of the sphere. That means this charge is going to be induced on the surface of the sphere. Now, this charge which is going to be induced on the surface of the sphere is not going to be uniform, remember, because as long as they are going to be produced here, there is a electric field is going to be produced inside this one. What is the direction of induced electric field? From positive charge to the negative charge. That means in this direction, from upper to the lower directions, the induced electric field will be there. That is going to be increasing, and that way that electric field and outside electric external electric field, they become same. That means the net electric field inside this sphere is going to be 0, and then after distribution of this charge is going to be stopped, or you can say that the charge which is going to be accumulated over a sphere is going to be non-uniform. It is a function of theta. So, with respect to z, anywhere on the sphere, if you say that angle is going to be, this is going to be the angle theta. So, this is the function of theta. At theta is going to be 0, the maximum charge will be there. Theta is going to be pi by 2, the minimum charge is going to be there, and again theta is going to be pi, negative charge is going to be the maximum. So, this way it is non-uniformly distributed over here. So, there are two things we have to find out, and because of this electric field, this induced electric field nearby to the sphere, this external electric field is also going to be modified, and that means we have to find out what is the electric field or what is the potential in the region outside the sphere. So, first thing we have to find out the potential outside this region of the sphere, and second thing we want to find out what is the induced charge density sigma, which is a function of theta. So, these two things we have to find out in this particular example. Remember. Now, we know that sphere is an equipotential. It is a metallic sphere. So, on the surface everywhere the potential is going to be 0. Now, why it is going to be 0? Inside the sphere, what is the net electric field? Net electric field is going to be 0. So, the potential inside the sphere is going to be 0 because the field is going to be 0. So, negative gradient of the potential is the field. So, the field is going to be 0 and potential is also going to be 0. So, we can consider that it is equipotential. So, the potential is also going to be 0 on xy plane, and every point on the xy plane the potential is going to be 0. This is cut at the xy plane. So, everywhere z is equal to 0, the potential is going to be 0. Now, the question is that is it the potential is going to be 0 everywhere? Can't be, because the electric field is going to be uniform electric field. Even at infinite distance, the electric field is not going to be 0. That is going to be E0z. That means it is z direction and its magnitude is going to be remain same. So, the potential is not going to be 0 at large value of r. R is greater than r, the potential is not going to be 0, but we can find out. How to find out that potential? We can find out that potential, that electric field is the negative potential of gradient. So, minus del V is equal to electric field. So, if we differentiate a del V upon del Z, that is equal to minus E0, and that is equal to, if we integrate this one, we will find out that V is equal to, the potential V is a function of E0 Z. So, Z is going to be large, the potential is going to be there, and C is the constant of integration will be there. Now, this time, however, V does not go to the 0 at large Z. In fact, far from the sphere, the field is going to be E0Z, and hence from the negative gradient of the potential, we can find out that V tends to minus E0Z plus C at large value of R. Since V is equal to 0 on the equipotential plane, the constant C must be 0. That means we can apply now our first boundary condition. What is the boundary conditions? On a surface of the sphere, the potential is specified, and that potential is going to be 0. That we can take it. So, that is one of the boundaries here, and outside that we want to find out the potential, and hence we can consider first boundary condition is equal to V is equal to 0 when R is equal to capital R. Now, second boundary condition, if we take that region is going to be bounded by some another sphere of very large radius, that means small r is greater than r, then the potential is going to be V is equal to minus E0 r cos theta will be there, because we have put already C is equal to 0. So, Z is equal to r cos theta we can put it, and hence it is going to be minus E0 Z or minus E0 r cos theta will be there, for r is greater than capital R. Now, we are interested to find out the general solutions of this potential in a spherical coordinate system. So, that general solutions is already we know, that is r is a function of small r and capital theta is a function of small theta, with taking the azimuthal symmetry, that potential V in the region of interest in the outside the sphere is a function of r and theta, that is equal to sigma L is equal to 0 to infinity AL r s to L plus BL upon r s to L plus 1 PL cos theta. This is our general solutions. We can start from here. Now, in this general solutions, we can fit our boundary conditions. What is the first boundary conditions? Small r is equal to capital R, because on a surface of the sphere, the potential is specified. So, that is the first boundary, potential is 0. So, we can substitute here that if small r is equal to capital R, that means V capital R theta is equal to this into AL, this small r is going to be converted into capital R. So, capital R raised to L plus BL upon capital R raised to L plus 1 PL cos theta. this equation is going to be converted like that. So, V capital R theta is equal to sigma L is equal to 0 to infinity Al Rs to L plus Bl upon R capital Rs to L plus 1 into Pl cos theta, and that is equal to V0 at surface R, and that is already 0. We know that. And this can be substituted here. So, or L is equal to sigma L is equal to 0 to infinity Al Rs to L plus Bl upon Rs to L plus 1. This is going to be 0 because here it depends upon R only. So, this function is going to be 0 because variation of R. So, the first term has to be 0. This first term is going to be 0. That means we can compare that Al Rs to L plus Bl upon Rs to L plus 1. This is going to be 0. From this, making the subject of the formula Bl, that is equal to in terms of Al. So, Bl is equal to minus Al R capital R raised to 2L plus 1. So, we can substitute now the value of Bl in terms of Al in our original equations. That is, in this equation we can substitute that V R theta is equal to L is equal to 0 to infinity Al Rs to L. Here also Bl we are substituting in terms of Al. So, minus Al capital R raised to 2L plus 1 upon small r raised to L plus 1. So, that is the way we get this equation. Al is going to be common in the both the case. So, it was taken outside. L is equal to 0 to infinity Al small r raised to L minus capital R raised to 2L plus 1 upon small r raised to L plus 1 Pl cos theta. For R is greater than capital R, the second term in the parenthesis is negligible because in these equations if we consider that small r is very large compared to this capital R, that means denominator is very large compared to the numerator, and in that case this term's total tends to 0, and hence we can say that the second term in the parenthesis can be neglected. That means this equation reduced to Al Rs to L Pl cos theta. So, V R theta is equal to sigma L is equal to 0 to infinity Al Rs to L Pl cos theta, and that potential at R is greater than 0 using the second boundary condition is equal to minus E0 R cos theta, that we have already proved. So, we can substitute here now. Now, you see that on this side there is a sigma L is equal to 1 to infinity, where L can vary from 0, 1, 2, etc., but this is equal to the potential is specified minus E0 R cos theta. So, in this one cos theta is only 1, and that means power of the cos theta is going to be 1 only. That means only 1 cos theta is equal to P1 cos theta is going to be exist. That means only one Legendre's polynomials is going to be exist, and that is going to be P1 cos theta is going to be there, and that means in this left hand side only L is equal to 1, that term is going to be exist, no other terms, all other Als are going to be cancelled out. That means here we can say that only one term is going to be survive, and that is going to be A1 Rs to 1 P1 cos theta, that is equal to minus E0 R P1 cos theta. This is going to be there. So, we can compare both the sides this equations. So, on the left hand side what is there? A1 Rs to 1 P1 cos theta, and on the right hand side minus E0 Rs to 1 P1 cos theta, and by cancelling R P1 cos theta both the side, we get that A1 is equal to only minus E0 will be there. So, this way we find out the value of the coefficient A1. Evidently, only one term is going to be present, that is L is equal to 1. In fact, since P1 cos theta is equal to cos theta, so from this we can conclude that only L is equal to 1 term is going to be exist, and from that we find out that A1 is equal to minus E0. all other ALs are going to be 0. This value of AL and BL we can substitute in our equation or solutions, the previous solutions. In this equations, if we consider that L is equal to 1, only that term is going to exist. A1 Rs to 1 plus B1 Rs to L plus 1 P1 cos theta, that is going to be your solutions. Now A1 and B1 also it is we have find out in terms of A1. So we can say that what is B1 is equal to B1 is equal to minus A1 Rs to 2L plus 1. So B1 is equal to A1 is nothing but minus E0. So minus minus, that is going to be plus E0 Rs to 2 into 1 plus 1, that means 2 plus 1 R cube. So here B1 is equal to E0, capital E0 Rs to cube will be there. So B1, this value of A1 and B1 we can substitute in our general equations, and that is our solutions. So we R theta is equal to, and this is going to be A1 which was common, minus E0 R raised to 1 minus R cube upon R square cos theta. So this is our specific solutions which we require. The first term is, if you combine this one, if we combine this one, the first term is this minus E0R cos theta. Second term minus minus is going to be plus. So plus E0 R cube upon R square cos theta. Minus E0 R cos theta, that already we know that is the potential which is provided because of the external electric field. At very large distance, R is greater than 0, this potential is not going to be affected. Now that is a potential due to the external field. And second term in this one, that is E0 R cube upon R square cos theta, that is the potential is modified due to, or potential which is going to be induced due to the induced electric field. Inside the sphere, the induced electric field is there, and that induced electric field, that electric field lines also generate from the north pole and going toward the south directions, positive charge to the negative charge outside, and that will modify the outside the electric field, and outside the potential is also going to be modified. So the first term minus E0 R cos theta is due to the external field. The contribution attributed due to the induced charge is going to be E0 R cube upon R square cos theta. This contribution is because of induced electric field. If you want to know the induced charge density sigma, it can be calculated in a usual way. You must be knowing that how to find out what is the relations between the potential and electric field or surface charge density. Sigma, which is a function of theta, that is equal to epsilon 0 minus, sorry, here that should be minus epsilon 0 del V upon del R differentiation at R is equal to R. I forgot to put the minus sign here, but it should be negative minus epsilon 0 del V upon del R. So whatever equation of the potential is there, if that equation is going to be differentiated, this equation, if it is differentiated with respect to R, and then multiply by minus epsilon 0 and substitute wherever there is a small r is there, that is equal to capital R, you will find out the sigma, that is surface charge density. So sigma is a function of theta, that is equal to minus epsilon 0 del V upon del R. R is a function of R. Minus, and that equation minus is going to be cancelled out. So here it is going to be positive sigma epsilon 0 E0 1 plus, here R was there. So differentiation of R was 1, and here R cube upon R square was there. So 1 upon small r square, that differentiation is going to be minus 2 r cube, and here that minus sign, and previously there was minus sign, so this become plus sign. So you can say that r cube upon r small r cube cos theta. And now we have to substitute small r is equal to capital R. So in this equation, this small r, if we convert into the capital R, that means r cube upon capital R cube, they will cancel out to be 1. So inside the bracket 1 plus 2 only, that means 3. So at r is equal to r plus minus, we can say that 3 epsilon 0 E0 cos theta will be there. As expected, it is positive in the northern hemisphere. That means with respect to positive z directions, if you make an angle theta, then theta is changing from 0 to pi up to equatorial plane. So when it comes to the x axis or y axis or xy plane, that theta is changing from 0 to pi by 2, pi by 2, and in that regions cos theta is going to be positive. So the cos theta is going to be positive. That means the positive charge is going to be accumulated in this one, and it is a function of theta. Where the charge is going to be maximum? If theta is equal to 0, that means on the north pole of the sphere, the maximum charge is going to be 3 epsilon E0 will be there accumulated. And as you are coming toward the equatorial plane, as the theta is increasing, cos theta decreases, and hence cos pi by 2 theta is going to be 0. This is going to be 0. That means the charge density is going to be 0. So non-uniformly charge is going to be distributed in the northern sphere, we can say that. And same thing is going to be happen with the southern sphere, where the negative charge is going to be accumulated. So if we consider that theta is varying in between pi by 2 is less than or equal to theta is less than or equal to pi, then also the electric charge which is going to be accumulated is going to be negative. That means negative charge is going to be accumulated, and it is going to be maximum at pi. So cos pi is going to be minus 1, and there the maximum charge is going to be again 3 epsilon 0 E0 will be there, and that is going to be accumulated there. Thank you very much, friends.